Meantime, let's talk about taxes, because potential tariffs and an expiring tax law coming up this year. President-elect Trump and his administration will be facing several challenges as we head into 25. Joining us right now with the implications of extending the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Manhattan Institute's Allison Schrager and Yale Law School and Yale School of Management professor Natasha Sarin. Good morning to both of you. What do you think the chances are we don't get a tax extension in this calendar year, Allison?
I'd say low. I think it's looking good that they're going to extend them all. I mean, I think even if Harris won, they would have extended them for most people. I don't see either party wanting to put taxes higher, particularly on middle class people. So I think the thing we know about Trump is I think we can expect higher it to become permanent for pretty much all earners.
So you think that becomes permanent, Natasha? You think it becomes permanent? And by the way, what's the chances it actually goes lower?
So I think there's the thing I can tell you with full certainty maybe is that the tax code is definitely going to change next year, right? You have $5 trillion of expiring tax cuts that are sort of have to be extended. If they're not extended, they're going to disappear. And as Allison mentioned, that means tax increases across the board, though those benefits of those tax cuts are way concentrated towards the top of the distribution. The question that I have, and the question you're kind of starting to get to, Andrew, is what is going to happen on the pay-for side? So let's say you want to across the board extend the Trump tax cuts. That's about $5 trillion. If you want to make good on all these other Trump campaign promises, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security benefits, that's another $5 trillion of tax cuts. So $10 trillion of deficit finance tax cuts is going to be hugely problematic for the American economy and result in higher borrowing rates. It's going to increase mortgage rates, increase credit card borrowing rates in ways that I think are going to be disruptive. So I suspect they're going to have to find ways to pay for this.
Well, that's my question. So, Allison, sort of game theory this out with us. How do you ultimately do it and make it, at least from an optics perspective, look like it's neutral somehow?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know. I think, based on his economic picks, one thing they might do is bring in the border tax adjustment. That would be more on the corporate side, which when they moved to destination-based taxes was what they were supposed to do to make it somewhat deficit neutral. So we can expect that. I think they're also hoping, this might be wishful thinking, that DOGE will find ways to promote growth or maybe cut spending. I think when you hear them talk, they're talking not necessarily about finding other ways to get tax revenue, but to maybe cut spending. I don't see anything they're doing that looks like that's going to do that directly, but I guess they're hoping they're going to find ways to be more efficient.
Natasha, can you sort of theorize out how you could make this work?
The reality is there's just not enough money there with respect to the sort of DOGE spending cuts that they imagine, especially when you're in a world in which there's no changes to Social Security and health benefits that are on the table. And by the way, the Social Security and Medicare trust funds are set to extinguish in the next decade. So you kind of have to look on the tax side. And the thing that I find really troubling is I don't necessarily see how you can get the numbers to work. Because rather than talking about things like, let's increase the corporate rate slightly to what business had asked for when the TCJA was passed, around 25%, what they're saying is we're going to cut corporate rates further. They're saying that Trump has said previously that his solution for all of this is that we're going to eliminate the income tax and replace it with tariffs. Besides being mathematically impossible, again, there's just not enough revenue there. It would also be hugely inflationary and result in, thousands of dollars of increased costs for the American people each year and move us closer to autarky. I don't think that's good economic policy. I doubt Allison thinks that it is either. And I doubt you can, frankly, find any economist, including those who are going to be working in the Trump administration, who would agree with that sort of approach as well.
Allison, do you have any thought about what the corporate tax rate ultimately looks like, and does it matter?
Well, of course it matters.
I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but what's a rate that actually could work?
Well,
he's talking about 15%.
Yeah, he's saying 15%, which is honestly similar to a lot of other countries. Although I think, as Natasha points out, it's not going to bring in enough revenue or produce enough growth to pay for that cut. So again, they could have said bring in border tax adjustment. People who he's having on his team certainly seem to be in favor of that. But I think, as Natasha keeps pointing out, and she's right, that we might spur some growth for some of these policies, but not enough to pay for. I think we're looking at higher debt, no matter which way we go on this. The question is how much damage is the higher debt going to bring to the economy during the Trump administration? Because we might not feel the cost of that for another couple of years.